Card number 53 from the 1953 Bowman Color set, Del Rice. And I got to point something out because I realized this right before I started tonight's stream that I think it was in our last stream. We were talking about Del Rice. Somebody brought up this card. I'm going to show it to you guys real quick. I grabbed a screenshot of it. 1952 Bowman Del Rice. This card came up. I don't know if it was the last stream or the stream before the last one. We were talking about different cards, and this one came up, and I made a note of it. I've got a little notepad here, and during these live streams, or really when I'm watching YouTube, I'll just jot cards down that stand out to me, and this one jumped out at me, and wrote it down, and I grabbed this screenshot. I don't have this card. I just went on Google and found this image. So this is not my card, but I like to do that. I like to go grab a nice example image of the card, and then I add it to my kind of PowerPoint. So ironically enough, Del Rice was the card for tonight's session. So session number 53 of Card Room Live. So welcome if you're new to Card Room Live. I hope you'll make yourself known in the chat section. We've got a lot of people from all sorts of different corners of the card collecting community. We obviously have a lot of YouTubers, but we have a lot of people that are in here that are not necessarily YouTubers, but they enjoy YouTube. We also have people from Twitter, Instagram, other places. So if you're new to the stream, I hope you'll introduce yourself and chat with the other folks that are in the comment section. This should be another interesting live session. If you're watching this later, maybe you're going to work, maybe you're coming back from work, maybe you're sorting cards, looking at eBay, walking the dog, sitting on the john, packing your bags for the National. Maybe you're wondering if Jesse Think Blue 77 will ever make another video. Whatever you might be doing right now, listening to this later, I hope you get something out of it. And I hope you enjoy yourself with whatever you might be doing. If you want to get in touch, or you have ideas for future sessions, or you just want to talk about baseball cards, offline, off of YouTube, you can always reach out to me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also reach me on Instagram, bowman53_Alex. So here we are, another July Sunday evening. It's another random session, nothing planned for tonight. Well, I mean, I have a couple things planned, but nothing really super involved. I don't have any special guests planned. Maybe I'll share the link if anybody wants to jump in here and chat. But nothing super planned. I kind of figured, it's the National coming up. I'm not going to the National. There are plenty of other people doing National videos that will do a better job than I will. So since I'm not going to the National, I figured, well, we'll still do a stream and we'll still look at cards. Those of us that can't go are just kind of sticking to our usual habits. So we'll do that. But I do have one small thing that I have planned, which should be fun. So we'll get to that in just a moment. It has to do with a certain baseball player's birthday. So there's a little hint. Yeah, let's see what's going on in the chat here. We got a lot of people already leaving some comments in the chat. Peter, I'm assuming you're referring to the Del Rice piece. That's one of the things I miss most about making those 53-second videos is looking up all that rockabilly stuff. I just went on YouTube and dug up as much rockabilly music as I could. And that was a lot of fun to do that. Stuke, good evening to you. Time to party. We got a reindeer in the house. Vintage Cards, good to see you. Hammer 44 is here. Rick is here. Rocket Rick. Sports Cards is here. Good to see you, sir. You've been putting out a lot of great videos lately. I have not had a chance to get through all of them, but I've got them all bookmarked, and I hope to get to them soon. So I'm hoping to get to those. But good to see you. It's the 33rd video I've watched today. Well, I hope your family still remembers you after this video. Jesse should totally make another video. Yes, he should. I have a feeling he will someday. I have faith. A 49 Leaf and a 52 Burke Ross of who? Of who? Who did you get? Oh, Dell Ennis. Very cool. Dell Ennis, a very highly underrated player. He's beloved in Philadelphia, but even in Philadelphia, he's not as praised as he should be. He was an excellent player. Hodges 1455. Good to see you, sir. Mookie is here. Always love seeing your avatar. You are correct, sir. There's no prize. There's my respect, which you already had. There's no prize, but yes, we're gonna talk a little bit about Shoeless Joe tonight. That's the plan. Good to see you, man. So if it's not a record, it will surely raise the average. Yeah. So the real question is, okay, this is your 33rd video. Now, did you watch all of those videos in their entirety? And how long were each of those videos? Because if they were all pretty short, I mean, I don't know how much praise you deserve. How many of you guys are planning on going to the National, just out of curiosity? How many people are on their way to Chicago? It's in Chicago this year, I believe. I haven't really been paying attention because I'm not going, but I'm pretty sure it's in Chicago. How many of you guys are going? So you're one of those folks that plays things sped up. I mean, I probably should do that. It makes a lot of sense. I just haven't made that choice yet. Okay, Hammer 44 is going. Stuke is going. Reindeer's going. Okay, maybe I'm the only one that's not going. Yep, that's right. You're right around there, right around that neck of the woods. Not going this year. Already saving for next year, though. Yeah. Rick's not going. Okay, so I don't feel left out. Rick and Hodges and I can sit at the not going to the national table. That's cool though, Rick. You have another show to go to. I don't have, as I've discussed before, I don't really have a lot of show options in my neck of the woods, and so I've really only been to a couple shows in my life, and one of them was the National. I really hope to get back to that next year, but I'll be sitting it out this year. Just got back from the National, seemed pretty dead, not as big as I expected. Yeah, I can imagine. It might have something to do with your timing. Maybe. Rocket Rick, going, cool. I hope all of you guys that are going have made that known as much as possible to other folks, whether you're just mentioning it in your videos or if you're commenting on other people's videos to let other people know that you're going. And certainly, obviously, if you have other people's contact information, reaching out to them and letting them know that you're going to be there. That's a great opportunity to meet folks in person. Hey Ray, are you going to the National this year? Just out of curiosity. That's the topic for right now. Seeing if who in here is headed there this year. Yeah, speaking of which, the baseball card Hall of Fame voting is underway. So check out Ray from Philly's channel on that. Okay, not this year. Yep. . 'Cause, 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 ' Well, the Phillies win in 12 innings after a 3-hour rain delay. They take 3 out of 4 games from the Padres in a pretty crazy weekend of baseball, but a good start to the second half for the Phillies. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. Bryce Harper is looking like he's figuring things out at the plate. Sounds like he's going to be playing first base pretty soon, maybe in the Milwaukee series at some point. I haven't really got the full details on that, but sounds like he's going to be playing first, which means that Schwarber can be a DH, which is awesome because Schwarber is catching on fire right now, and we need somebody out in left field that isn't Schwarber. Rojas is looking pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff going on with the Phillies right now. So fingers crossed on that front. There's your Phillies update that nobody asked for. Wow, with that loss, the Padres have fallen into last place. Yeah, I think it was Machado that said today was a must-win. Well, the Phillies had other ideas. It's always fun beating the Padres, I have to say, especially after last year. Padres and Mets are just disasters right now. Hardly any return on investment. Yeah. Yeah, the Phillies, on the other hand, have spent a lot of money, and it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's not bad. I mean, they're not in first place with the next team 15 games back, but the Phillies are playing competitive baseball, and as a fan, that's really all I want. Anything more than that is a bonus, but I just want competitive baseball. There is Don from Don's Field of Dreams cards. Evening, sir. Those of you that are going to the National, oh, you too. Those of you that are going to the National, I'm sure you've probably been talking about this on your YouTube channels, but just since we're all here together, any game plans that you want to share, any particular cards that you're looking at, any collecting goals that you have in mind, or are you going to wing it? Are you just going to kind of see what happens when you get there and walk away with cards that you didn't necessarily plan on picking up? Just curious if you guys had any plans, any prep that you're doing in terms of what you're looking for at the National. While you guys are thinking about that question, I'll share what I did the last time, and well, really the only time I went to the National. I, at the time, was really focused on finishing the set. So I would have a very different approach this time, or the next time I go to the National, I guess I should say, because the last time I went, I was all about finishing the 53 set. So I was thinking about the few commons that I needed, and I wanted to get the mantle. I was also kind of looking at the Duke Snyder, but I really wanted to get the mantle. I knew that there was going to be plenty of options, and it was just a matter of finding the right condition card and the right deal. It's not hard to find a 53 Bowman mantle, but finding you want to have a good pool of possibilities so that you can find the right combination of condition and price. And I found that. But the other thing that I did was I was looking for commons, and I was really down to the wire. Like I had like 10 or 12 cards left that I needed to get, and I was really having trouble finding the common cards that I wanted in the condition that I wanted and have them graded. So I finally caved in and started looking at raw cards. I hadn't looked at raw cards at all during the set build. I was always buying cards that had already been graded by PSA, and I wasn't really having trouble doing that, finding them. But towards the end, I was really having trouble finding graded cards in the condition that I wanted. So I had to open up the pool of possibilities. And at the National, I had a lot of fun just, looking around at vintage collectors that would have stacks of 53 Bowman Raw cards, and I would just kind of go through, and I knew which, however many it was, 10 I needed, and every now and then I would find them. And of course, they're going to be in a wide variety of conditions, and a lot of times collectors will put them in stacks where they've kind of they're trying to predetermine roughly what the grade might be. Like this is a stack of poor cards, and here's like a very good to find stack and whatever. So you had some idea when you were flipping through there, but even still, the condition's going to be unpredictable. So I actually had a lot of success doing that, and I found like 2 or 3 cards, I think, at the National that time that I was just having so much trouble finding elsewhere. So, and then of course sent them into PSA. So that was a lot of fun too, just like digging through raw cards at the National. Okay, so we got some responses here. Okay, Rick, I'm looking for the last 2 cards to complete my 49 Bowman base card set. Not working on the variations. Cool, Rick. Rick, I probably should know this, but I don't know if you mentioned this in your recent videos. What are the 2 cards that you need? Are they like big cards or common cards that you just haven't come across, or is there anything that's been like holding you back from finding these 2 cards? Just out of curiosity. Hey, Dan, all good. Like, I won't mark you late. Don't worry. I live in that world because I'm a teacher, but I'll give you a pass this time. You're fine. Good to see you, man. I'm actually going to start my massive Stan Musial collection that's going to be better than Don's. Oh, man. What would be great, Scott, is if you just made a video of you going to the National and you had enough funds to literally buy every Stan Musial card that exists at the National. That would be the ultimate upstaging. I can see it now. I'm sorry, Hammer 44. I missed your. Oh my gosh, I missed a whole bunch of them. Let me go back and see here. White Sox fan card collector, trying to get a Diamond Star, Appling and Simmons, as well as a 2001 Topps Traded Gold Ichiro Pujols dual card. Very cool. I mean, that's a great card to try to get. I'm going to hop on eBay here and look up these 2 cards. Any particular reason that you're looking up Appling and Simmons? Or that those are the 2 cards that you're targeting for the National? So for those of you that are new to the channel, every now and then I'll go on eBay, but I'll click on stuff on eBay, not because I'm interested in that particular auction, but honestly just because I want to see the picture. This is a really fun image. There's a whole lot going on here. And you mentioned Simmons. Well, I know why you're trying to get Al Simmons. He's a White Sox player. That's a great looking card. Very cool. Maybe a T205 Addy Joss. See, I'm looking up all these cards. I was about to say CADs. I'm looking up all these CADs that you guys are after so that other people know what you're trying to get and they can try to like snatch these cards from underneath you. I'm trying to create all this drama at the National. You guys are going to be like at each other's throats for these cards. That is a really cool card. Yeah, I'm kidding, of course. I'm just excited to see what you guys are looking for. And the fact that you want to try to get the 49 Bowman Dobie is a great idea. I love that card. It's the mustard card. That's what I call it. I mean, that looks like one of my favorite. I'm a big mustard fan. I mean, who doesn't like mustard? Um, if you don't like mustard, you should seriously think about leaving this stream. Um, I don't, I don't know what else to say, but I love mustard. I love all different types of mustard. One of my favorite types of mustard is Coleman's hot English mustard, and this is that to me in this 1949 Bowman Larry Doby. And I know this is a really difficult card too, very pricey. But I have to say, Scott, this is a better idea than trying to get all of the Stan Musial cards just to show up Don. As great an idea as that is, I think this is a better idea. 54 tops Aaron Banks and K-Line. Hey, that would be an incredible national. If you came away with those three cards, that would be a national that you will never forget. And I'll tell you what, if anybody here is going to be at the national, I would track down Hammer 44 here and follow him around so that you can watch that happen. Because if that happens, that would be one for the ages. Okay, now I'm finally getting caught up. Also looking to complete my 2019 Topps Heritage Superbox loaders. Only a few to go. Okay, you're speaking a language that I don't understand. But good luck to you. Ashburn and Satchel. That's right. I think I heard you talking about this on a live stream recently. It might have been with Lou Rock. Maybe was that last weekend? I'm like losing track of time. But of course, Satchel Paige. I mean, that's a big one. These are all cards, guys, that if you're at the national, you should be following these guys around, see how their searches go. Yeah, I agree. Both of those are really fun. I mean, it's hard to find a Diamond Stars card that isn't a pleasure to look at. Stash, greetings to you. I like your name. I like your avatar. There's a guy in Alabama that has all the great musical items. Yes, if it's who I think it is, yes. And I'm pretty sure that if it's who I think it is, that Dan, if he's still in here, is going to do an interview with him at some point. I'd like to pick the 2 White Sox Hall of Fame players that I don't already have for my set build. Okay, so I don't know if I realized that who was the other guy that you mentioned. I don't know if I realized that he was also a Sox player. Luke Appling. Yeah. Chris from Missouri, how you doing, man? Chris, are you going to the national? I think you are. Lou Rock is in here. Good to see you, man. The Bowman Dobie is more attainable than his Leaf. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of feel like that's the case for all the Leaf cards to some degree. Question: do you put ketchup on your hot dog? Because if you do, you're wrong. 100%, Lou. 100%. Thank you for making that clear to everybody. Yes. Okay, Peter, you're good. You're safe. I'm getting all the Dobies and pages I can. I'll have shoppers at the show. Oh. 48 Leaf Dobie, 48 Kiner, 38 Feller, 50 Barrow. That's a fun list, Chris. A's fan, what's going on, man? Yeah, I love that card. What's up, Alan? Is it really? Stash, do you have a channel? And here's my next question. If I type in Stash on YouTube, am I going to be able to find your channel? I'm going to find all kinds of stuff, but will I be able to find your channel? That's not an indictment, by the way. Yeah, I absolutely love the name of your channel and your avatar, but finding stuff on YouTube sometimes is rough. Let's see. You know what else I don't like? I don't like that. So far as I know, you can't like when you guys are in the YouTube chat. Like if there's a person's name and you don't know that person, like let's say like, oh cool, I want to see if this person has a YouTube channel. You can't just click on it, right? Like you can't just like right click on it and go to that person's channel or anything. There's no way to like leave the comment and like their name isn't a hyperlink. I don't understand why that is that way. Doesn't make any sense. Exhibits and anything else that sparks my curiosity. That sounds like Stuke, 100%. Yes. Okay, so I thought so. So there you go, guys. If you don't follow Dan's Vintage Baseball PC YouTube channel, look it up and subscribe. He's already got a lot of great stuff on there, both from his own collection, and he's also doing collector interviews. He just did one with a Roberto Clemente collector that I'm willing to bet a lot of people on YouTube don't know, because I don't know that he has a YouTube channel. But he's a very knowledgeable Clemente collector who has an incredible collection. And that's one of the cool things I think about this is like Dan, has been on Twitter for quite a long time, is relatively new to YouTube, but there's so many other collectors out there besides, the folks that we know here on YouTube. So I'm really glad that Dan is bringing those people into the fold too, because that was an amazing video. And then, clearly Dan's planning to do this again with a Stan Musial collector that a lot of people beyond YouTube, on Twitter, Instagram, a lot of people know this guy, or are aware of him, I should say. So it'll be really cool to hear from him and see his collection. So I'm looking forward to that. Chili cheese onions on a butter toasted bun. Okay, now we're really getting into the hot dog stuff. Don earned that wrench by pretty much being here for nearly every session. I don't know that Don has ever missed a session, even if he's only here for a little bit. So cheers to Don, Mr. Donnie Livestream. Well, when you get that card, I look forward to your video, because I know clearly I don't know much about him at all. So, that's one of the fun things about collecting a set like Diamond Stars is there's some well-known names in there, but there's also guys that can really spark opportunities to learn more. So I'm looking forward to hearing about him. Stash cards. Okay. I'm really far behind on these comments. Oh, I found it. Wow. Thank you. Uh, cool. Okay, no judgment. So it seems like you were really into it 3 years ago, and then you stopped, and then maybe you're back. So that's cool. Well, I just subscribed, so keep them coming. Really? That's too bad. I don't understand why. There you go. If anybody wants to copy and paste that. But that tip worked. I typed in stash cards and it came up. Um, yeah, I mean, because this world is so big, and I think I'll speak for myself here. Sometimes you're on YouTube for a while, you kind of feel like you have a sense of like, okay, what are the different folks out there? What do they collect? And every now and then you kind of forget without realizing that there's way more collectors out there than whoever might be on social media. And I do think the platforms tend to sort of be a little bit siloed. You know, there's some crossover. Like some of us do have YouTube and Instagram and Twitter, but there's a lot of siloed and social media. I mean, that's just how it works. So it's always kind of fun and refreshing to see, you know, um, how many more collectors there are out there. Appling is the only Hall of Fame player to appear in 34 Gaudi and the 1950 Bowman. Man, that's the trivia of the night right there. Don, I've been trying to find the 1950 Bowman Appling for a long time. Can't find a nice one for a decent price. Right. I've been like snatching up a lot of ones and twos and threes. I mean, that's not new for me. I've been doing that quite a bit for the past several years, but it takes some time, and with certain cards, it just doesn't seem possible, which can get frustrating. Um, Don, hate to break your heart, but I sold a really sharp 1950 Appling a few months ago on Twitter. Violins for Don. Good to see you, Orlando. Yeah, there's no doubt going to be a lot of national. I mean, there already has been a lot of national content, so there's just going to be more. Um, all right. Well, I've mostly caught up. Anybody else that's just jumped in? The initial question so far has been: if you're going to the national, what are you looking for? Um, One of the most fun things about the national is, besides meeting everybody and just enjoying the insanity of how much there is to see in terms of the cards and everything else, is figuring out what other people are looking for and sort of either helping them out or just kind of tagging along for a little while and sort of seeing their process. I definitely did that when I was there a few years ago. I might run into somebody and just kind of tag along with them for a little while and sort of see what they were looking for, maybe help them out. Um, and it just makes it so much more fun. Just to see all the different styles of collecting and the different types of stuff that people are looking for. Any other cards? Peter, that's a fun goal. Looking at, I mean, I haven't looked at old judges for a while. I picked one up a few months back, and I really had a lot of fun looking at them. I still have a bunch of old judge cards bookmarked that someday I might want to try to pick up. And coming up with the things that you want to see in an old judge card, um, it's just a different way to collect, right? Like normally you're thinking like, okay, who is it? What like which player is it? Which is the most key card and all that kind of stuff. But for me, the fun part of looking at old judges cards is that they're all kind of fun, and maybe you just want like an example of an old judge, and you just want one that is pleasing in some way, and it's not necessarily important who it is. Um, I just find that like really, really fun. It's like a different mindset in terms of collecting. Yes. Um, that also gets you a wrench. Yeah. Meet if you're ever, and this is a standing offer. If anybody is in Savannah, reach out to me. We'll meet up for breakfast. We'll talk. We'll talk Savannah. We'll talk vintage baseball cards. You can come over and check out the card room, and then you'll get a wrench. Uh, so pretty sweet deal. Low graded, affordable Yaz rookie. That sounds cool. Sounds like a good goal. Looking for a 48 Bowman Mutual or a 59 Topps Gibson. Yes. Yes, the Pepto Bismol card. Lou, I feel like you and I talked about the Pepto Bismol card one time. That's a fantastic card. One that I wish I had. It's definitely on my list. Someday I would like to get some tobacco cards. Yeah, I can't believe that you don't have any tobacco cards, man. That's just bizarre to me. I never would have thought. Got to get on that. So watching the 75 All-Star game last night. Yaz hit a pinch hit homer first pitch. It was awesome. That's great. Where was that? Was it like MLB Network or on YouTube, or where were you able to see it? Well, this is probably a good time to make that transition. So as Scott correctly guessed earlier, I thought it would be fun for us to take a look at some Shoeless Joe Jackson images. I was on Twitter earlier today, and I noticed several people tweeting that today was Shoeless Joe Jackson's birthday. And I thought, you know what? It might be fun to kind of talk about Shoeless Joe Jackson during the live stream. And I did a quick Google search, and I found this website, blackbetsy.com, which of course is the name of his bat. And I did a quick look, and it seems like they have a ton of photographs from different parts of his life, and they've got little captions. And I said, oh, that's a good website. And then I left it open so that we can look at it. That's about as much work as I did as I did for this live session, but I thought it would be fun to look at some images of Joe Jackson on his birthday. I am by no means a Joe Jackson expert. If there are any Joe Jackson experts in here, I would encourage you to share your knowledge in the comments. I've certainly read about Joe Jackson. He pops up a lot in the books that I read when it comes to pre-war. But I'm no expert, so I thought rather than like having a chat about him necessarily, that it would be fun to just look at some pictures. One of the things that always jumps out at me about Joe Jackson, speaking of Savannah, was that he has a lot of ties to Savannah. He started his career at one point in Savannah, and he actually ended uh, ended up in Savannah later on in life. Um, so I'm not going to go through all these pictures, don't worry, but we'll just kind of click around. And if anybody sees something that they want to look at or notices anything or whatever, feel free to jump in. Um, let's see. So this is Joe and Katie Jackson. Photo of Joe with two of his Savannah teammates taken at the corner of Broughton and Habersham Streets, which is right. That's like downtown Savannah. Uh, uh, so let's see. That's awesome. There's Joe with a dog. And Katie Jackson is in the back on the left with the wearing the sweater. She's got her hands on the bat there. Let's see. 1907 Victor Mills team photo. Can you spot Joe? Victor Mills team photo. Here's Joe. This would be better if I could like play some old timey music, right? But if I did, YouTube would fine me $1 million and put me in jail. Let's see. This is Joe playing for Savannah team in 1909. (1910) New Orleans team photo. And he's number 12 here. Hard to see probably for you guys. But you guys can look this website up if you want, blackbetsy.com. 1909 Savannah, Georgia team photo. It's funny that script of the S still exists in Savannah. You'll see it here and there, not necessarily in reference to the baseball team, but just from that time period, you'll see that type of S for certain Savannah companies and things here and there. Another shot of Joe in a Savannah uniform with his one of those early 20th century trademark sweaters, button-up sweaters that players would wear. Joe and Katie on their wedding day. Man, check out that suit. Joe playing for the Savannah Bananas. A few decades late. Although Joe played only 10 games with Philadelphia, he did return many times to this park during his career. Even though this photograph was taken many years after Joe's playing career, we thought our visitors might want to see what it looked like. Oh, okay. Well, it's just a picture. It's just a picture of Shibe Park. Okay. I thought it was going to be Joe at Shibe Park. Only 4 known photos exist of Joe in an A's uniform. There's Joe on the far right. There he is with the New Orleans Pelicans. Let's see. I mean, of course, they've got Cleveland years and Chicago years. We'll take a look at Cleveland. Cool. Joe taking batting practice in Athens, Georgia. Athens is just a few hours away from me. This is in 1914. This is a Fatima cigarette ad featuring Joe. Wherever baseball is known, Joe Jackson is famous. Wherever men smoke, you'll find Fatima cigarettes starring. Jackson leads all league batters. The great batting stars such as Cobb, Lajoie, Crandall, Wagner, and others are playing second fiddle to Joe Jackson, Cleveland's right field. A batting average of 411 in 62 games makes the Lake City fans joyful. Joe in full uniform aiming a shotgun at the camera. (1912) Cleveland Naps team photo. Little fuzzy there. Another batting practice shot. Let's move on to Chicago. (1919) White Sox outfield crew. I mean, this is really extensive. They've got so much in here. Joe with some chaw. Oh, that's why. That's great. Babe Ruth called out after Jackson catches the fly ball and argues with the call to no avail. Looks like this was August 1920. Let's look at outlaw ball days real quick. Joe in Westwood, New Jersey. This is, of course, after 1919. This is in 1922 here, taking a smoke break. So as I mentioned, Joe ended up in Savannah again at the end of his career after baseball was done with and he was out of the majors, and started a business in Savannah. Um, I guess this is one of the only known photographs of his business. He also had a liquor store at some point. I'm not sure if that was before or after this. I guess we can find out on here somewhere. Here's inside. Here they are inside their dry cleaners in Savannah. And this is in 1926. Joe and Katie in their car, Oldsmobile model 45B, the pacemaker. Was the Don? I see your comment. The liquor store was in Greenville, and that's maybe this is it. Well, he was with the Greenville Spinners for a while, baseball team. So here he is with team in Greenville in 1932, much later in life. But I don't see. I might just be missing it. I don't see the liquor store in here. Well, it's because I'm looking at. Okay, I forgot. There's another section later in life. Here we go. Buying groceries. Here we go. Front window of Joe's liquor store in West Greenville. Joe Jackson's liquor store. And here are some friends of his, I guess, outside of the store. There he is in front. I mean, much later in life, in front of his front desk. Joe Jackson night at a game in the 1940s. This is a really famous picture of him in his store. Are there any reasonably priced Shoeless Joe playing days cards? That's a great question. We've looked around on this stream time and again. I think it's tricky. I mean, first of all, there are very few cards to begin with. And I'm forgetting all of them. But I'm wondering if you guys in here know. But I think it's pretty difficult to find anything that's considered reasonable. Yeah, Joe Jackson and Honus Wagner cards have become extremely expensive. I mean, they always were, right? But it's almost reached an impossible range. Yeah, that's right, Don. Right. I mean, I think that's the only way to do it, Scott, is like it's got to be non-card memorabilia. And they do have a section on here for his baseball cards. And this even has it looks like they attempted to kind of keep track of all the modern stuff that exists. So that's one compromise I guess you could make, is to get something that's a modern card. E91 American Caramel. Colgan's Chips. T210. That's a great card. That's so cool. Larry, that's a good point. The Fatima team card is probably the only way to go. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It happens. It happens with this guy. Sparting News. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. I don't know that I've seen that before. That's really cool. Pinkerton, 1911 Pinkerton. I mean, there's some super extensive stuff in here. Baseball cards, notebooks, baseball stars notebooks. This is from 1911, 1915. Of course, that's a very famous photograph of him, used for a lot of stuff. Triple fold. Police Gazette. Colgan's Chips again. Here's the Fatima team card. And you also get Lajoie on this card. Here's the premium. WG5 national game. WG6 Tom Barker, which is very similar. Wow, that is a beautiful image. Even though it's it's a little odd because it's a ad for men's garters, but it is a really cool looking illustration. Here's one of those blankets that Scott was talking about. Purple and the yellow pennants. And I mean, that's such a classic card right there. I could keep going, but you get the idea. I mean, anybody that's interested in trying to find out what else there is out there for Joe Jackson, this seems like a really useful resource. Again, the site is blackbetsy.com, and they do have a whole page that's just devoted to baseball cards. So you can check that out. All right, guys. So we've been going about an hour. It's probably time for me to call quits for today. So if you're new to the live stream. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll come back next time. We'll get back on track with some like more planning and stuff at some point. But for those of you going to the National, stay safe and have fun. And let us know if you're able to find any of those cards that you're looking for. It'd be cool to see what comes your way. And we'll see you guys next Sunday for another session. So until then, again, you can always reach me at bowman53channel@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Bowman53_Alex. Until next Sunday, take care, guys. Have a good night.